Hi BookTube, it's Roz. Now, as you probably spot, I'm not at home. I'm very happily having a lovely holiday. That means that the sound and lighting might be a little bit odd, but I wanted to make a video because this is Banned Books Week, which is coming to the end of it. Now, if you don't know what Banned Books Week is, it's an event that was sort of established, promoted by the ALA, the American Libraries Association, and they did that to draw attention to the issue of books being challenged and banned in the American library system, public libraries and school libraries. But of course, that's not unique to censorship and book banning and book burning and book all of that, happens around the world today and historically. And so it's an event that has a wider resonance and has been embraced more widely. And I marked it by reading a book from Burma that was initially banned and then published but censored in the author's country of origin, but is now available in English translation for us non-Burmese speakers to enjoy. So, what's the book? The book is Smile as They Bow. It's by Nunu Yi. Now, Nunu Yi is one of Burma's leading writers. Now, she's written, I think, 14 books and short stories and many more things. This book was translated in 2007, 2008 by, let me get this right, Thithi I and Alfred Birnbaum, and it's actually was the first novel published in English translation by a living Burmese author. It was when she originally tried to publish it in Burma, it was, as I say, it was initially banned and then it was published, but so brutally censored, it would have taken the heart out of the story, to be honest, and as I will explain. So this book is set in the village of Townbyon, and it's set over the 7 days of a religious event, festival there. I suppose it would help to explain that Burmese Buddhism makes space for, incorporates successfully older traditional beliefs in 37 nats or spirits, and these nats or spirits are celebrated in local festivals that are kind of like a mix between, a bit of a sort of, well, in this case, week-long party combined with religious ritual. And their nats were people in the past who died tragically and are remembered and are seen as somehow linking the world of the living and the dead and having the capacity to grant wishes. And you connect with nats through spirit mediums or spirit wives called Nat Kador. I'm not sure if I've got the pronunciations of this exactly right. So if you're Burmese, please forgive me if I'm getting the pronunciations wrong. But these kind of spirit mediums or Nat Kadors were historically mostly women, but now sort of from the sort of latter part of the 20th century onwards, it's become something that is predominantly a role fulfilled by gay men or trans women. Now, in the book, they're referred to as Menmasha. It's probably, you can't exactly use sort of Western labels for that sort of the particular sort of gender identity or that is in Burmese culture, but we'd looking at it from the outside, you might think, are these gay men, are they drag queens, are they but some of them definitely trans women, as in they identify as women, and it doesn't matter, does it? Now when this book was first written, and I think it was 1994 that she tried to initially get it published. As I say, it was banned, and then it was published, but as I say, severely censored in a way that kind of well, I should explain. I'll explain. The book kind of features a Nakador whose name is Ubasin or Daisy Bond, and Daisy Bond's relationship in the book is with a young man called Min Min. And the censors basically removed everything that conveyed the fact that Daisy and Min Min had an intimate relationship, So how the book would work without that, I've no idea, to be honest. But that does fit with the fact that Burmese culture, then and now, criminalizes and stigmatizes, what is seen as a deviant sexual identity, gender identity, sexual orientation. But within the context of Nat worship and in the role of sort of spirit mediums or Nakadors, then they can be admired as and rewarded and become famous as kind of performers and religious guru is slightly the wrong word, but kind of, as I say, connections with the spirit world that can help people get those spirits to grant their wishes. Now, we get a sense of this in the book, because in the book we get some of Daisy Bond's back history, I suppose, backstory, and get a sense of how, being a Nakador offers a sort of a legitimised role for her in Burmese society. And Daisy sort of says this, she talks about, when she was a boy and having to sort of, I don't know, kind of feel like she was pretending to be a man in order to, avoid discrimination. And then, and I'll quote you a bit. When I heard about the boys in Town Beyond, how they dressed and put on makeup whenever they pleased, all very happy and well gay, I had to go and see this Town Beyond for myself. And she does, and she takes on the role of a spirit medium and becomes successful in that role. And the novel really conveys how she sort of knows that she's putting on an act. It's a bit of almost a con, it's getting money out of people for wish fulfillment. But at the same time, she really enjoys the performing. She enjoys her role. She tries to do a good job. She tries to sort of do right by her acolytes, I guess, as you might call them, and their dreams. And it's clear that Nunu Yi, really did her research for this book, and she acknowledges the Nakador that she interviewed in order to be able to create this sort of fictional story based on their lives and experiences. The setting of the book is phenomenal. It's tremendous. I mean, what she does is she drops you right in at the beginning into the world of this festival. You're there, you're seeing it, you're feeling it, you're smelling it, you're getting the sounds. She gives you the perspective of several different people who were there, people who are there as worshippers, people who are there to try and make a living, or and then she focuses down onto Daisy Bond and Min Min and their story, and the story of their quite troubled relationship. I mean, Daisy loves Min Min. In fact, she loves him obsessively and is jealous and mistrustful that he might leave her. But in effect, she she abuses him, I suppose, in that, you know, she basically bought him as a teenager from his poverty-stricken family, and Min Min on his part is dependent on Daisy, cares about her and works hard for her, but dreams of a different life and of getting away, and in the story he sort of falls in love with a girl that he meets at this festival. So there's a kind of a tragic element to the story for both of the main characters. This is a vivid, vibrant, moving book that I absolutely would recommend to you. It's also a really good translation that does justice to that. My only issue with the translation, and something that kind of struck me as a really odd decision, was my understanding, and I'm no expert on this, is that in the Burmese original, Nunuyi was able to use a non-gender specific pronoun for Daisy and other Nakador, and the translators instead have translated would use he and him for Daisy, when I think, and perhaps that's to do with it being translated in, you know, the early 2000s, and I suspect perhaps if you were translating it today, you'd use they and them, or indeed she and her. So that was my only, the only thing that rang a bit oddly for me. Apart from that, I really enjoyed this book and very glad that I've read it.